and that's, I mean, my thoughts were really glad we're here. We could have lost the day before against Washington College, who had a really good team and at times outplayed us as the game was tied. And Mati Kano, whether it was a cross that floated into the back post or whether it was a shot from 40 yards on the sideline.
I didn't know how he would celebrate. I was like, hey, oh, okay.
To be fair, I said to him after the game, I said, that was a shot, right? And he was like, Coach, no chance, no chance. I was like, come on, you need to claim that. You need to claim that. So I bet 20 years from now he'll claim that as a shot.
Yeah.
As I would.
Great goal.
But we were going into the con game. I mean, you're playing for the Final Four, right? So it has a different feeling. We had played first. We'd watched them play. Redlands given them a really great game. Con had done what they did all season long and scored at the death. They scored at like 89-30 on a corner kick. I think that's maybe underappreciate. Like Con plays this style and positional play, and they're expansive and all these things. But when I look at why Con won the national championship, obviously their hard work, but they were lethal on set pieces. Yeah. They were great on set pieces in the regular season. They were great on set pieces throughout the NESCAC tournament, and they were amazing at set pieces in the NCAA tournament. So, no, 100%. No, you would never bet on 5-4. I wouldn't have even bet on 2-1. I would have bet 1-0 or 0-0 penalty kicks because that's like the trend of soccer in November when it's 25 degrees out and it's freezing cold and it's the second game in 2 days and there's that much tension, and for whatever reason the tension went a way that it very rarely goes, and 5-4.
Oh my gosh. I was going to say, like, at that point in the season, right, the concern is always your defensive posture and making sure that you don't let up anything. So my thinking was, these are two teams that are going to play mistake-free in the back. It's just, so I was like, 0-0, 1-1. Like I could have foreseen. It's on the corners too. I thought, oh my gosh, both teams are gonna score on corners. Like that was where I thought the goals would come from. But all right. So you go ahead twice. Connecticut ties twice. And it's the second goal they score is minute to half.
I think like 35 seconds.
Something, your team obviously disappointed, like, oh my gosh, could have gotten a halftime, but at 2-1, what was your message to your team?
Well, the coach and me initially, again, when you've done this for a while, like you think, wow, like this con team has something about them, right? Tufts, like we all year long found a way to win, but the coach in you is like, okay, I know how this game works. We're up 1-0, we're up 2-1, like we're supposed to win this game, and this con team, there's something about them where they are just tough. They are tough-minded. They are not giving up.
Down without the fight. Yeah.
They are not. And so you're impressed, but obviously you're not going to tell your team that, right? My message, which obviously didn't work because we went from 2-2 at halftime to 5-2 down 20 minutes later. I think my message was we're fine. It's 2-2. If the score were 0-0 right now, every single one of us would feel absolutely fine, right? Just go win the next 45 minutes and you're going to the Final Four, or win the next 65 minutes or on penalties or whatever it may be. So my message was we're fine. But obviously, again, as a coach, you don't want this to be part of it, but the psychological impact it has your team where 35, I'm not going to say any names, but like we had the ball, a chance to just kick the ball out of bounds with 45 seconds left. Instead, like a weak left-footed clearance up the field, they playing across a guy, the ball ends up in the box, bouncing around, their kid hits an amazing shot into the top corner. So, how that impacts your team, and how that impacts the other team. And obviously it continued to impact us 15 minutes into the second half. So again, like you ask, like, what are those regrets? Like maybe at halftime, I don't know, I should have been singing and dancing or running around or screaming or whatever. It's not my nature to scream. Like I'm more of a build confidence guy, and I thought we were fine. I genuinely thought we would win the game at halftime.
Yeah. So remarkably, those first 15 minutes or 20 minutes, they come out and score and make it 5-2. And you have 25 minutes left in the game. What was your thinking when they got that fifth one? Were you was it like at this point let everything go and let's just go after it? Or I mean, were you thinking like, oh my gosh, the game, not that you would, but the game's over, or I don't see how we come back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you certainly start to have those thoughts. I mean, the third goal they scored from 20 yards, crossbar down, half volley. I mean, I'm a Manchester City supporter, and I watched yesterday in their Champions League game, Bernardo Silva scored a goal. It was a half volley, crossbar down. And it reminded me, I think the con goal was better. And so again, there's like these things that happen, right? And soccer is crazy. And so, yeah, 5-2. I mean, I certainly wasn't going to take off our seniors, right? Like this was their team. So we're seniors are on, the super seniors are on, the regular seniors are on. Let's throw them out there. But you have that thought for 2 minutes of, man, what am I going to say to these guys who came, postponed their lives to come back and try to win a national championship? And you hope that they, anyway, that crosses your mind. And then all of a sudden it's 5-3. And then truly, I think it was 45 or 60 seconds or 90 seconds. It was 5-4.
With 20 minutes at that point.
Yeah, and there's 20 minutes left. And so you're actually trying at that point, trying to decide if, okay, there's 20 minutes left, we're down 1. Like, do we need to be a little more cautious here so it doesn't become 6-4? And we never did. For sure, we never did. And we didn't change anything from 5-2 to the end of the game. We didn't change a thing. We just went 4-2-4. Ian Daly started to push forward from right back, and that's like the one question, because he, you can put him higher as a winger. But you feel like with him, one of the reasons he has such success is he shows up a little bit later, and also kind of playing 4-2-4. He kept getting the ball out wide, and he was open, and so he could make things happen. So we felt like if we put him up higher, there'd just be defenders and more players close to him. So we just wanted him in space, and so we left it. Yes, I mean, I've had one other experience like this at Ithaca College. We were down the last game of the regular season, and I can't remember if it was 2017 or 2018. We were down 3-0 to Vassar with 20 minutes left, and we came back to win 4-3 in regulation. And so I'd had one other moment like this, which just, I think I don't know, it's just weird, crazy stuff happens in soccer. But certainly when we got it to 5-4 for about 10 minutes, I was convinced we'd win. We tie it up, and who knows, maybe you go to penalties or whatnot. It was like with 10 minutes left, you kind of felt some of the air let out, and all of a sudden we
tire. Like, I don't know if that's the right, but just watching the video or watching the game from here, it just looked, you could just see they had expended so much energy to get to the 5-4 and trying to get that fifth, that the clock just got too long on them, right? And it just, you could see legs getting tired, and they weren't making the runs as crisp as they were. And
there was a moment, and I've seen the goals. I haven't watched the entire game. I can't watch it in real time. I've watched the goals that we gave up. I've watched the goals that we've scored, but I haven't actually watched like the second half. I will at some point, but there was a chance right after we made it 5-4 that I think like 8 times out of 10 we score, and that one didn't go in. I can't remember if a defender blocked it or if the keeper made a save, but there was a chance where I just thought, oh, there it is, the fifth goal, there it is, and then it didn't happen. And you do have that moment where you do. God, it makes me like even think about I just told them how proud I was of them. I probably say too much publicly, but in full transparency, I shed a tear, and I just told them how proud I was of them, and I was just sorry. And I've done this for long enough, 17, 18 years as a head coach. So like, there's nothing you can say, right? You've got all these guys who know that they were good enough to win a national championship, as any team in the Sweet 16 could have won a national championship, right? And it takes a ton of talent, it takes a lot of hard work, it takes a lot of luck. But when you're talking to a team, and they knew they could have won a national championship, and that was what their focus was, and all of a sudden it was over. And for Tufts guys, like that's even bigger, because all they've known is winning a national championship. This is silly, but we're organizing our banquet right now, and I was talking to one of our players yesterday about just kind of like, again, those things where you're trying to put your own input on the team, but also trying to give some of these seniors like a similar experience. So for our banquet coming up in a month, I was like, I was asking what they've done in years past.
Mm-hmm.
He made a joke. He was like, well, then the last thing that we do is we get our national championship rings. I was like, well, we won't be doing that this year. And he didn't, like, not with any cockiness, just as
not any malice
our kids are very, very humble. More like giving it to me, like
yeah.
I didn't come in and help the team win a national championship.
Right.
I got total respect for it. It was Ian Daly, so I'll give it back to him.
Yeah. That's awesome, though. I love, I wish I could have said that, but
no. I just told them how proud, and again, sports are crazy, and when you're looking back on like what does all this mean, right? And don't get me wrong, I think winning is really, really important, and I'm always a coach that, like, we do a lot of in Division 3 and in the NESCAC, and sometimes like you don't talk about winning in Division 3, and I've never been one of the, like, I think you can prioritize winning. I don't think it makes you a bad person to want to win and want to beat your opponent. And I think in life you're going to have to, like, wanting to win and wanting to be successful. I don't think there's any shame in that whatsoever. And so, I just kind of share with them, like, obviously we want to win a national championship. We wanted to be in the Final Four. We wanted that experience. I'm really sad. I'm really sorry that you're not going to get that experience. I really wanted it for you. Selfishly, I really wanted it. I've never been in a Final Four. And I wanted to provide that for our coaches and all of that. And I just told them, like, the legacy that you're going to leave here, obviously as a team that's won 3 NESCAC championships, 2 national championships, and then the 2 years that you didn't win. Yeah, they were, 2 national championships, 2 Elite Eights. So, like, pretty darn good. Yeah. They're pretty good Division 3 soccer players. But the lasting legacy that they're going to leave is having been down 5-2 with 20 minutes left, and every person there thinking, holy cow, this is how this ends for these guys. 5-2, maybe 6-2, 7-2 at that point. And instead it didn't. And they battled back with everything that they had, and they truly almost came back. And at the end, were disappointed to lose a game that 20 minutes earlier they had, to be fair, had been getting crushed in, and we're losing 5-2. And so, like, their lasting legacy for me will always be that group who didn't give up at 5-2 down with their careers ending, and they had that toughness and that desire, and just kept fighting for one another.